And I walked around the pagoda, circumambulated it, and continued my journey into the deep darkness. And I was absolutely lost. But I was not afraid. Many people tell me that on the brink of death, you would see many frightful apparitions. But I didn't see any of those things. I just walked on and I was lost. Then I heard a bell. Like an ice cream bell. I follow Tibetan Buddhism. And sometimes the lamas and the rinpoches, when they do their prayers, they often ring a bell and hold a vajra. So I told myself, oh, that's a Rinpoche doing a puja. He's ringing his bell. I can hear the sound of the bell very well. But as I said, it was in total darkness. So I followed the sound of the bell. And I came back. This happened 2 times. On another occasion, it's my conscience, I think maybe it might have left the body and traveling. I saw my mother. My mother had passed away almost 30 years before my stroke. More than 30 years. I saw a building that looked like our house. My mother was a nyonya. And I saw her clothes, her kabaya and her sarong hanging outside. I said, yeah, that's my mother's house. So I walked in. And I saw her. Then somewhere, I took out a rice pot. And I told her, I have come to cook rice for you. How much rice would you like me to cook? She didn't answer. I asked her again, Mom, I have come to cook rice for you. How much rice would you like me to cook? Again, she didn't answer. And then I said, well, if you're not going to tell me how much rice to cook, I'm going home. And so I left. On another occasion, I felt that my legs were being grounded like sugar cane going through the sugar cane machine. And so I felt that I had no legs because my legs were being, going through the sugar cane machine like the steamroller. I said, goodness, I will have no legs. Yeah. Then on another occasion, I saw a huge lotus, a very, very bright crystal-like lotus, floating towards me. A huge lotus, you could say the size of a big dining table. And then I said to myself, every time I pray, at home or in the temple, or in any photographs, there's always a deity or a Buddha sitting on the lotus. How come there's no Buddha, no deity, nothing sitting on the lotus? I just admired its brilliance. I didn't know what to do. And the lotus floated out. Years later, some people told me the lotus was meant for you. You should have climbed up onto it. I said, goodness, how stupid I was. On another occasion, I met a cousin of mine. Her name was Angeline. She had migrated to Melbourne for many, many years, and she passed away there. It was about 26 years before my stroke. She came and took me on a train ride. The train was not a long train. It was only one carriage, like a dipper, you know. And both of us were in the carriage, and we were shooting off at lightning speed. Then I turned to her and said, Angeline, I can't go with you. I have something to do. I have to go back. You go ahead. And in a flash, I was back and she shot off. Again she came. The duration between these two incidents, I wasn't able to tell you. It could be the next moment, it could be days later. She came again and took me on the same train ride. And we were shooting off. And I told her, hey, Angeline, I've already told you, I cannot go with you. I have plans, and you are not part of my plans. Please go back to Australia and don't come back. That is exactly what I remembered. And she never reappeared. And so, things like that happened. And on the 7th day, all this I'm able to tell you because they were related back to me years later by my children, my niece, my sisters, and friends. On the 7th day, I was in a very bad condition. My son told me that my stomach was not swollen. It was bloated. Bigger than somebody who's in the 9th month of pregnancy. My son said they couldn't make me wear a sarong. I was too big for a sarong. They just threw and draped the sarong over my stomach. My face was like pow, all swollen. And the worst thing is, the bag which was hanging by the side of my bed to contain my urine, the doctor told my son, there's no more urine. It's only blood and pus. Her intestines are rotting. Those were the doctor's actual words. I quote, her intestines are rotting, unquote. What is to be done? So the neurosurgeon told my son, on Monday, please take your mother home. There's no more hope. Take her home. We will send her home in an ambulance. You would please take her home. You remove the respirator, and she would go in 5 minutes. It was not easy for my son to accept that message. And so my sons went home, cleared my hall for the body to be brought back. They went to the Buddhist center where I have been serving. I'm still serving. I've been serving there for past 33 years. And they told the committee members there, my mom is very sick in hospital. She will be brought back in 2 days' time. Please arrange for prayers in Tibet or Nepal or India, where my guru was. And then my committee members told my son, your mom has gone to Australia. She is supposed to have left for Australia on the 8th of March. Then my son said, my mother has not gone to Australia. She's now very sick in hospital. She's supposed to have left on the 8th of March. But my stroke came on the 3rd of March. And so my committee members arranged for prayers to be done at the moment of death. Because the hospital had already told my son what time the ambulance would bring me home, what time they would remove my mouthpiece and respirator, and I would go within 5 minutes. Then I have a cousin in Australia who arranged for 80 Theravada monks in Bangkok to pray for me. So I'm very, very fortunate. I have monks in Tibet and Nepal who prayed for me. 80 Theravada monks in Thailand who prayed for me. My friends and relatives, whether Buddhists or Christians, they prayed for me. And to them all, I owe my life. And so it was decided that I should be brought home. But my eldest son told the doctor, my brother, that means my third son, I have 3 sons, I only have 3 sons. My youngest son was at that time in London. And my eldest son told the doctor, my youngest brother is still in London. He can't get an immediate flight home. So can we wait a few more days until my youngest brother have a last look of my mother? Just to keep me alive. And so they did. They kept me alive for the sake of my youngest son. He came back. He just told me last week that he had to take 6 flights from London. London to Holland, Holland, I don't know where, London to Holland, Holland to Russia. Oh, all the way, 6 flights, 6 connecting flights to be home. And he came back on the 9th day, the 9th day of my coma. He came to the hospital and he held my hand. And he said, Mom, I am Eng Leong. His name is Eng Leong. He said, Mom, I am Eng Leong. Can you hear me? Yes. I could hear him loud and clear. I have not heard any sound for the past 9 days. And that was the first time I heard his voice. But I couldn't respond. I could not even flutter my eyelids. I could not even shed a tear. My lips could not even quiver. There was no response. To him and to all those who were standing round my bed,